Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unread Book Summary channel. We're so glad you're here with us today wherever you might be tuning in from. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more book journeys. Today, we are diving into a book with a title that I think we can all relate to at some point. Thomas Erikson's Surrounded by Idiots.
Come on, let's be honest. Haven't we all had that moment, stuck in a meeting, in traffic, or even just trying to explain something simple, and you just think to yourself, why doesn't anyone get it? Am I surrounded by idiots? Well, this book tackles that exact feeling head-on.
And here's our first big takeaway. According to the author, the problem isn't actually idiocy. Nope, it's something much simpler and, thankfully, much easier to fix. It's just misunderstanding.
The book kicks off with this fantastic story about a CEO named Stuart. This guy was absolutely convinced, 100% certain, that his entire company was run by fools and morons. He just couldn't understand why no one did things the right way. But when the author, Thomas Erikson, actually sat down with him, he had a huge realization.
And this is takeaway number 2. Stuart's definition of an idiot was just anyone who wasn't exactly like him. That's it. So the book proposes a simple but powerful solution to bridge this gap. A 4-color system based on the well-known DISC model.
Now, what's really interesting is that almost nobody is just one pure color. Only about 5% of us are. In fact, around 80% of people are a blend of 2 colors. But if you can understand the 4 core types, you've got the key. It lets you start speaking their language, instead of just expecting everyone to understand yours.
So let's meet the colors, shall we? Our third takeaway is all about understanding the first one, red. These are the drivers, the alphas. You know a red when you see one. It's the boss who plays in the company soccer game like it's the World Cup, knocking people over to score. Or like the author's old boss, Bjorn. He once called, asked, "Were you looking for me?" Heard no, said okay, and just hung up. The whole phone call was 8 seconds long. For a red, time is everything, and they have zero patience for fluff.
So yeah, their greatest strengths are their speed and their laser focus on getting things done. But that same strength can look like impatience, aggression, and like they just don't care about anyone's feelings. It's 2 sides of the same coin.
And this quote, it pretty much sums it all up. It's not that they're trying to be jerks, they just genuinely, truly believe their way is the fastest, most logical path to winning.
Okay, next up for our 4th takeaway, we have the total opposite of a red. Let's talk about the yellow personality, the inspirer.
Oh, you definitely know a yellow. They're the social butterflies, the ones who light up any room they walk into. They're charismatic, incredible storytellers, and they can get you excited about pretty much any idea, no matter how wild. But, and it's a big but, because they love talking so much, they can be, well, terrible listeners. And details? Forget about it. The book tells this hilarious story about a manager named Peter who, in a meeting with 7 other people, managed to take up 69% of all the talking time. That is classic yellow behavior right there. This quote perfectly captures the yellow spirit. It's what the author's friend, Mick, said after wrecking his car so badly the driver's side door wouldn't even open. Total, unshakable optimism. For a yellow, there's always a silver lining.
All right, now for takeaway number 5, let's look at the most common personality type of all, the green, also known as the supporter.
Greens are the absolute bedrock of any family or team. They are the calm, supportive, and super reliable ones. They care deeply about the group, they crave stability, and their life motto is basically, hey, if it's not broken, let's not try to fix it.
Their biggest weakness, though, is how much they hate conflict and change. The book gives this incredible example of a guy named Christopher who locked himself out of his office on a freezing cold day. He stood outside for 15 minutes before asking for help, just because he didn't want to bother anybody.
And this quote from a green wife talking about her super outgoing husband just nails it. They will always put the happiness of others first. They really find joy in supporting the people they care about.
And that brings us to our 6th takeaway, and our final color, the blue personality, the analyst.
Blues are the perfectionists. They need every single detail to be correct. They're logical, methodical, and totally focused on quality. You're not going to persuade a blue with feelings. You need facts and data.
You want to know the perfect way to understand a blue? Just imagine how they'd assemble IKEA furniture. They'd read the instructions probably twice, then they'd count every single screw to make sure nothing's missing, and only then would they start building. It might take them longer, but you can bet that bookshelf is going to be rock solid forever.
This right here is peak blue logic.
They have the information, they have the answer, but they won't just offer it up unless someone asks them a direct, specific question. They're not being difficult, they're just being precise.
Okay, so we've met the reds, yellows, greens, and blues, but here's where the real magic happens, and it's our 7th takeaway. The power isn't just in spotting these colors in other people. It's in learning how to adapt your own style to communicate with them.
This little cheat sheet is basically your secret decoder ring. Just look at how each color is motivated by something totally different. For reds, get to the point. For yellows, be friendly and social. For greens, be patient and supportive. And for blues, you better come with all the facts and details.
Let's make this even more practical with takeaway number 8. We need to use the right do's and don'ts for each type. For example, when you're talking to a red, do not start the meeting by asking about their weekend. Just get straight to the point. Tell them the goal, how you plan to achieve it, and what you need from them. Show confidence. When you speak their language, you earn their respect, and you actually get things done.
This all leads to a really crucial insight, our 9th takeaway. Self-awareness is everything, because your best quality can easily become your worst flaw if you're not paying attention.
Think about it. A red's decisiveness can feel like aggressive steamrolling. A yellow's amazing charisma can come off as shallow and unfocused. A green's supportive nature can turn into stubbornness when it's time for a change. And a blue's focus on quality, that can become analysis paralysis where nothing ever gets done. It is all about the context.
And this brings us to the final, and I think, the most important takeaway of the entire book. This is the one that really changes your perspective on everything.
This is the heart of it all. Once you understand that people are just wired differently, that they have different motivations, fears, and ways of communicating, you can start to replace that feeling of judgment with curiosity. You can swap out frustration for empathy. And just like that, you realize you're not surrounded by idiots at all.
It's a pretty powerful shift, right? Figuring out your own color is the first step for sure, but the real magic happens when you start using this knowledge to connect better with all the different colors in your own life. It really makes you think. This concludes today's book summary. Thank you for joining us and for your continued support. Please subscribe to stay updated with our latest summaries, and we'll see you in the next video.